stuff with Comicsgate and Ripaverse, which is really just Comicsgate 2.0 kind of shit. Like, you know, how them being at war with each other, this feud and whatnot, how indie comics is having a civil war. Keep seeing that. Indie comics is tearing itself apart. And that just like, wow, man, that fucking throws me for a loop every time I see something like that, because I said it before. Comicsgate, Ripaverse, all those people could be Thanos snapped from existence tomorrow. Indie comics wouldn't even notice, except that they, you know, maybe their timelines in social media would be a little bit less hostile. That's it.
I am Gary Nerderotic, and I used to sell methamphetamine to kids, but now I sell false narratives based on bigotry, funded by sinister dark money, all by using nerdy things like Marvel and Star Wars. Honestly, the meth was probably overall less harmful to society.
I wish I could quit. Or just die.
I eat farts yummy.
I would like to ask a question. Why do you want me to call you a Kit Kat? You're clearly not a Kit Kat or this Zimzer, Bimber, Ginger, Genghis Khan. You're clearly not. So why? I think for the most part, if they were hit with sodium pentanol and they had to give a correct answer, an honest answer, a lot of it would be 99.9% of the time, I'm seeking attention.
I am the internal monologue of Az, aka heel versus baby face, aka the silverback. I am the fat one. But I'm also the dumb one in the fandom menace. It is curious that I never use any part of my real name online. But also I can't even decide which fake name to stick with. Yet here I am, being a right prick about someone's nickname in a video, desperately trying to hide the fact that I don't have a personality. What a fucking useless sack of shit I am.
Oh, she's so, it's the stunning and brave. Oh my god.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it.
Other people besides white dudes like Star Wars. I'm just saying, we need to be conscious of our bias.
I talked about this one thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
Weird.
You are the real superhero.
Well, I'm built like a goddamn brick.
Is he some sort of masochist?
I'd like to correct this headline from the wonderful bounding into fascist bigotry. I don't top woke Hollywood. It tops me. After all, I am a little bitch.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Force cannon sake!
I know what Glenn Beck's butthole looks like.
And the same goes with Miles Morales. He is indeed, again, Miles Morales. He's also a Spider-Man.
I really dislike the fake geek thing and the poser nerd thing. That's not what we're about.
Like, I don't get offended by shit.
Every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can quarantine. Hi everyone. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm on antidepressants up the wazoo, literally.
I can't get off Tatum ass, bro.
Social media, I think it's reality. I'm cripplingly lonely and I'm desperate for attention. And so I put in my bio a shitload of flags and gained other people's opinions as my own and call myself as from heel versus babyface.
Yeah.
What a fucking useless sack of shit I am.
The Fandom Initiative is a group of people on a mission to counter anti-woke sentiment on YouTube.
Right, you fuckers.
We are passionate fans of film, TV, comics, and video games. We'd love to make YouTube videos about the things we enjoy, but the culture of YouTube fandom makes this impossible, thanks to certain networks and clusters of content creators who depend on outrage, deception, and harassment to drive clicks and bring in revenue. The YouTube algorithm pushes harmful content to fans who are at risk of indoctrination by consuming repetitive right-wing rage bait videos.
Damn, dude. Yes.
Bingo! Some people would like to think that like you can be like 100% objective when watching something. Like remove your bias and just critique it like the truth. You can't.
So like, what is fucking bringing all these guys together other than like, I'm mad at fucking Brie Larson?
What? If I can't be a misogynist to you, I don't know what to do with you.
I oftentimes get called a shill.
Fuck it, man. Can't be worried about that shit.
But here's the thing. My picture is not on the wall in the lobby of Marvel Studios.
More and more people are fed up with that toxic content and culture.
Honestly, it makes this sound really cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa! What's that? Oh, that's a shit. Why don't you go and subscribe to it? I dare you. I fucking dare you.
Got it. Get it. Got it. Good.
So what do we got here? Well, we got this thing right here.
Hello.
Hello, you bastards.
It is my favorite comic seller.
Yeah.
He
He looks kind of completely different. Back in was this 2009? He was 39 years old then.
I mean, you'd assume he'd look different.
Well, I mean, look, I don't think that I'm going to look a whole lot different. You know, whenever like I've basically looked the same since I was about 16. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it's someone changing over 15 years from 39 to 54.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess he hasn't changed that much. Well, let's read what he said here and see. So this is an interview with Wired magazine. They're talking to comic book employees and owners, I guess.
Right.
He says on fans, he says they aren't very rounded people. There's this fringe hardcore fanboy, but I sell to lawyers, meter maids, doctors, artists, and there's a growing female audience. We have a new generation taking over. It's not crabby old fat dudes with ponytails telling you not to touch the books. We want you to read it before you buy it. I equate comic book stores now to what record stores were in the early 80s.
You know what? That's pretty.
I mean, you know, it's just kind of like it seems like he's lost some ability to analyze with any kind of nuance since then, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like he's changed a lot.
Yeah,
and just in terms of his mindset. And
honestly, like that photo freaks me out because he kind of reminds me of my oldest brother. Like it's kind of fucking weird. Like the kind of black button-up shirt and like the hair, you know, how short the hair is, the beard, the glasses. It's like that's how my brother's fucking style is. And it's freaking me out. Am I related to Gary? Oh my god, am I related to Gary?
You might be.
Oh,
that would be a fucking plot twist.
Yeah,
imagine that.
All right,
Dane is conspiring with the villain.
Well, I mean, if I was, then look, I guess I'm conspiring with InfoWars because you know, you weren't here last week, so you didn't really hear much about it or anything.
No, I did not.
We did some digging. I mean, it didn't take much. It doesn't seem like they tried too hard, but they probably realized with their audience they don't have to try too hard to hide these types of associations because their audience is like completely incurious and doesn't, you know, check on anything.
Yeah.
Short story is that I came across a channel that something struck me that like I'd seen something from it before. It was a thumbnail and it was like specific design, and I remembered what it was from finally, and it was like on Twitter. From like August 2022, and it was a tweet from Chrissy Mayer where she said, "My friends in you know, on Friday Night Tights friends or whatever," and she tagged like all the chuds, all of them, you know, the ones that are typically on the show, EFAP, fucking everybody, and they're going to be involved in this documentary with InfoWars about the nerds fighting the war on woke or whatever, and you know, and I remember seeing it then and thinking like, you know, it reminded me of like how we were, you know, Brad Fay reached out to us for his documentary, and I was like, oh, they got interviewed by, you know, InfoWars for some stupid InfoWars documentary. That's stupid.
Yeah.
And it seems like it was more than that. like it seems like they kind of have to some degree, you know, at least an arrangement, if not like a working hand in glove kind of thing. And it all took off like right after the second time that Alex Jones was on Friday Night Tights, which was their 200th episode, and that was in June of 2022 or July.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
And within days, there's like this Nerd Wars channel pops up, as well as the dude that runs that channel's other fucking channel, his personal, I guess, channel. But then you can find him. His name is Irwin. That's the only name you can find about him. You can find him having uploaded that quote unquote documentary, which is really just a bunch of clips of their content. Hold on one second. Gordy's scratching at the damn door. You say hi to the people, Turf.
I'll say hello to the people. Hello, people. How is everyone? Everyone, let me know what you're looking forward to in March. Right? I know February's not over yet, but what are you looking forward to March? It can be a movie, a TV show, comic, a book, life event, new job, maybe, a video game, a sports match you're looking forward to, a new hobby you're starting, just anything in March. What's going on with you?
Yeah. Hey there.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm excited for X-Men 97. Don't know what that is though, but
okay,
I think Dane might.
For a moment, I was thinking, oh shit, me and Turf get to talk about how excited we are for X-Men 97. And then it fucking hit me that Turf is like 7 years old.
Exactly.
And he has no idea why he should be excited about this shit. Like
exactly.
So what we're gonna do here in a minute, this is kind of impromptu thing, but it seems fun. I'll tell him what it was like to be a young person in the 90s on a Saturday morning, and then we can hear what it's like to be a young person, whatever dimension he's in on a Saturday morning. If Saturdays even exist there, who knows?
Yeah. Look forward to that. We'll be coming up after the break.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, man, for sure. The first one was fucking great. I even liked the ending. I was fine with it. I kind of expected it to end on it's just a 2-part thing. You kind of expect it to not be satisfying, right? But a lot of people were like, that's not an ending for a movie. It's like, well, no, not really. It's a 2-parter. Oh yeah, I mean they get like what? You get 17 holidays every year, so I guess you get 3 Saturdays a week. That makes sense.
Yeah, we actually lost a holiday last year, so it's 16 now.
Sucks, man. We're so oppressed over there.
Yeah, we really are. Our government is crushing down on us. Can't believe it.
Well, hopefully this election you guys have coming up doesn't go any shitty direction. Glad we don't have that problem here.
Yeah, I mean, you guys don't even have to worry about your politics. You guys are blessed. No, but here's the thing. No matter where you are in the world, American politics are fucking scary.
I know, man. I'm sorry. I know it's like that. Like I don't know why it is that way. It's stupid. And
yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean more for like. I was about to say like American like who's the president almost like affects Denmark as well as a lot of other countries around the world more than our own elections, but it's not quite that much. But it's still like American. Whoever's the president has a lot of fucking.
Right. I mean, whatever he can make choices that have fucking ripple effects that definitely could have effects on even Denmark.
Yeah, I mean, and also just like we see it in the terms of like the U.S. The U.S. is the powerhouse, right? Like they are the big person. If they support Israel, which they do, then as you've seen, pretty much every other like fucking Western country in Europe has supported them too.
Yeah.
It's because we support America,
It's
even though the news and like pretty much everyone in Denmark are very critical of Israel and like American stuff. It's like our government is just like, well, it's America, they do. So it's like, and I know a lot of other Western countries are like that, and it's so American politics affects the whole world, and that's why, everyone's fucking frightened.
Look, as Alan Watts used to say, you are the universe in the same way that a wave is the whole ocean. Like we all affect each other. We're all connected on this fucking situation we're on. But yeah, unfortunately, America does have more connection and power than others.
Yes,
and it's like we don't deserve it at all. We don't fucking deserve it. Like, take it from us, please.
Well, you have it, and I don't think that's going to change for a while.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe it could go down in smoke. You know what? This is not what this fucking show should be about. You sent me, I don't know if you remember, you sent me a clip the other day, and you wanted me to play this for the audience, and I didn't play it, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it now.
Oh yeah.
Knows about the meme of me hating mermaids. It's an initiative classic. But what nobody knows is that I actually wish I was a mermaid. Because they can swim around and poop whenever they want to. Plus, I can lure semen with my siren song. That's my shameful surf and turf secret.
Wow, powerful stuff, man.
What the fuck?
you know, you told me about your surf and turf secret. Get it? You know, because you want to be a mermaid so you can swim around and poop.
Dane, you were supposed to show this to the people.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Damn it! Now everyone knows. Damn it!
Yes. All right, we're gonna talk about X-Men '97.
Bro, that was fucking. Bro, okay, we can't just move past that. What the fuck was that?
What are you talking about? What? That's just it's nothing. It's no big deal, man. What are you?
Listen, either I wasn't fucking consenting to make it up.
I know that's like, look, that was the point I was trying to make. Definitely, I was definitely thinking about that when I made it. I was like, you know what? We need to prove how upsetting it can be when somebody takes your likeness. And you know, no, I wasn't. I just kind of did it to fuck with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
do not care about consent.
I mean, I do.
You do.
You know,
just not when it comes to AI.
Look, we're the initiative, man. Like, we're kind of built on just doing shit. You know,
I mean, it's also like if you can dish it, you take it. You know.
Yeah.
You know. So like I mean, I find to a certain degree like funny little AI skits of people. They can be funny.
I did it because I missed you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was
I get that. Yeah.
You're gone
Listen,
for a week. It's like
I haven't been around much. I've been a neglectful son, you know.
Well, speaking of, let's bridge the generation gap. Okay, so Saturday mornings in the early 90s. Excuse me.
Yes.
So 1990, 90 to 92, 93 was a fucking magical time.
Yes.
If you were a comic book fan, but even if you weren't, because it made a bunch of new comic book fans.
Yes.
It's just this bizarre moment in time where it's like, I was already kind of getting into comic books right around that time, especially like X-Men and stuff. But then they fucking released this. You ever watch Batman the Animated Series?
I've watched some of it. It was on TV.
So that's another, you know, that's like generally the one that people think of, and it kind of is the superior animated series of all of them back then. But like, you know, right underneath there, I think, in my opinion, more or less, is X-Men the Animated Series. And there was also a Spider-Man. Gordy, make less noise, please. There's also a Spider-Man and stuff, and all these came out around the same time. So Saturday morning, you know, I'd get up, and I was probably like, I don't know, your age, like 9 or 10 or something.
Yeah.
And just watch all these awesome cartoons. But the X-Men one was like I vividly have the memory of watching the first episode and just being like, holy shit, it was next level. Because it's like literally depicting stories from the comics. You know, it's like a condensed, truncated version, but it's more or less the same exact stories.
Yeah.
And it was a new kind of like style of animation that hadn't really been done, that I hadn't seen anyway.
Nice.
There was clearly a lot of love put into it. Iconic, you know, kind of voice casting and you know, intro and everything. And it just, it has serialized storylines in the season. True.
Cool.
Wait, what are you disagreeing with? Wait, I mean, I said Batman the Animated Series was I was talking about generally that's seen as, not like Greg sees that way.
No, that's what you said, Greg.
I misspoke. But
yes.
So whenever X-Men 97 was announced, it was a big deal, and it's a big deal still, because it's a continuation of that series that really didn't get a proper ending, because like basically as you know, bullshit behind the scenes production stuff, it was an expensive show to make, you know, and I guess maybe it started losing viewership and whatnot. Not for me. But then they made the decision to ship the animation process to, like, I don't know, some country or something. I forget. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but they didn't do as good a job. There was like this weird, bizarre storyline thrown into it that just like didn't have anything to do with anything. And the voice acting and animation started suffering, and, you know, it just kind of crapped out. I don't even remember how it really ended or what happened at the end, but
Yeah.
But X-Men 97 is a continuation of that story of the original run. So like, yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's basically that was the X-Men that everybody knows. If you're aware of the X-Men at all, you probably are aware of that version of the team. You know, with Cyclops and like their specific costumes they were wearing, the specific roster of like Wolverine, obviously, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Gambit, Rogue, fucking
Storm,
Jubilee. Yeah,
Oh,
that
hell yeah.
was Bishop showed up eventually. You had Morph. You know, everybody
Morpheus?
knows Morph. Nope, just Morph.
Oh,
Yeah.
what about Beast?
Beast was there. Yeah, he's there for sure.
Oh, nice.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's awesome. So that's what it was like. And that was that
Yeah.
moment in time that you can see that like several people in chat here also had a similar experience to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morph was the one character that was like created for the show. He was
Oh,
a
nice.
stand-in for a character that was called Mimic in the comics, but like, yeah, he was just a shapeshifter. And then he also turned out to be, I think he died, and then he turned out to be, and he came back maybe, but he was a bad guy or something. I forget.
Damn.
Yeah, Ms. Marvel Power Theft. It had that too. So, you know, I don't know if you know this, but Rogue in the comics, she can fly. She's super strong.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not her mutant power though. She got that because she absorbed it from Ms. Marvel, not Kamala Khan, but Carol Danvers when she was called Ms. Marvel. So there's a, you know, iconic moment in the comics where they end up, you know, Rogue was a bad guy at first. She worked for Magneto and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and shit. And so Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel, you know, kind of gets in her way, and she basically just absorbed a little bit too much. And I think she, you know, basically put her in a coma or something, but like basically absorbed her powers to the point where they're permanent.
Damn.
And so she can fly and super strong and whatnot.
Nice.
But yeah, that's why I like. So, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just like confused about like so what trailers come out?
The X-Men 97 trailer. Let's check it out. I mean, we might watch it in like little bursts just so we can avoid a copyright claim. I don't know, but
wait, but okay, did X-Men 97 come out in 97?
No, I think it's
is this like a new like continuation of it?
Yes, it's a continuation of that same exact. That's what. Yeah, so it's like.
So I was confused. I thought it was like the first X-Men series came out in the 90s, and then like later in the 90s they came out with X-Men 97, and then now maybe like a remake of it. But this is just the follow-up.
Yeah, this is following up on the story because it was a serialized story. So like that was kind of one of the main draws of it was like actually, you know, not episodic and shit. And like it's the season that was supposed to happen and didn't. I mean, they've done a similar thing in the comics, but they
haven't
picking
it up where they left off.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't explain that well. Yeah, Avi Arad was involved with all things Marvel up until, you know, I mean, I think his name is still on Sony shit. You know, like that awesome Madam Web movie that's out right now. It's got 15%. I wanted to talk about that later. Remind me, because like the writers of that movie, I don't know, man. We'll get there, but yeah. So first, I wanted to show you just a taste of what the original show was like. So I've got a couple of like brief clips here, like compilations of clips. So this is every bub that Wolverine says in the original X-Men animated series.
The X-Men do, bub. Bub. Okay, bub. Drop it, bub. Bub. Thanks for the lift, bub. The only place you're going is down, bub. 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 I feel the way I feel, bub. I don't know who you are, bub. 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 Watch it, bub. Hey, it's a big island, bub.
How are you old war?
Something I can do for you, bub?
Sorry, pal.
So there's some bubs.
Why did you say bub?
Huh? He always says bub.
Oh, okay.
That's Wolverine's thing, man. He says bub. It's like his condescending, kind of like a buddy, but it's bub. You know?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds very cute.
Yeah, it's like guy or pal. You know, hey guy, hey pal.
Yeah. Or bay.
Hey friendo. You know.
Yeah. Hey bub.
Yeah. Hey bub. And then here is this is just so one of the iconic things from the show is the previously on X-Men.
Yes.
So here you go.
On X-Men.
And that's basically
fuck?
how. That's basically every episode.
Was that a
like
recap?
that yeah, that was a recap.
That's amazing.
But it's the upload is called previously on every episode, and more or less it's true that like essentially that series of events in some way, shape, or form happened in every episode.
Yeah.
Where
Jeez.
Professor X would use Cerebro, and something would happen, and he would get like an overload of psychic energy, and he'd go ah, and then Jean would get hurt, and then Scott would be like Jean. And then fucking Wolverine would get upset and he'd go, rawr!
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was still a cartoon, a kid's cartoon. It was, better quality, but you know what I'm saying. So
yeah, some like kids animated cartoons just like rise above and like are enjoyed also by adults because they have more to say.
Oh, and I wanted to show you this other thing,
Avatar,
just so you know what it is. Because it's actually the thumbnail of one of the streams. These are called oops, whoopsie doo. Let me get that screen share back up here. These are called VHS tapes. And what those was so do you know what DVDs
I
were?
think I read about those from like the 1600s, right?
Yeah, something 17, yeah. No, yeah, dude, this shit was such a big deal that like Pizza Hut they had like some kind of thing where through my school where you could get if you did like a certain amount of reading, you could get a free little personal pan pizza, but you could also get like I don't remember if it was money off of or tickets to get a tape that had like 1 or 2 X-Men animated series episodes on it.
Oh damn,
this shit was everywhere. But yeah,
that's cool. I remember VHS.
Do you?
Yes.
Wow.
I had VHS.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
Even as a 7-year-old. Okay.
Wow. All right, so here we go. This is it. Continuation.
All right.
Watch the series finale of X-Men next Saturday morning. Check your local listings.
I'm grateful to have the chance to say goodbye. I am proud of you all, my X-Men.
Fate lies in our hands.
Damn, he dies.
Apparently he does, and this is how they started off, I guess. But like, yeah, no, very over dramatic, like melodramatic as fuck. But like, that's part of the appeal of it, right?
Yeah.
Wait, where are you seeing Krakoa nods? What are you talking about? Wait, what do you mean? Just get back with me on that.
Now.
We have to stay vigilant. The professor entrusted us with his dream.
No matter how dark it is, we must believe in each other.
Okay, I
like the style of it.
I just peed a little, and I've already seen it. Like,
just a little Wolverine with his little.
The mutant synergy, yes.
Fingers.
To me, my X-Men is literally from X-Men #1 in 1964 or whatever. So like that's a callback in the Krakoan era in the House of X and stuff. That's a callback to the original comics. But yeah, there is a mutant power synergy thing that happens. It's like, oh my god.
We get this done by working together as a team.
Jeez, Bub, keep buzzing in my ear.
Heads up!
That right there, holy shit, man. Ugh.
I can definitely imagine how, like, if you've grown up with the show and you really like this,
yeah,
that like seeing this, because it is hype.
It's hype,
and
man.
like,
I mean, I can only imagine not having grown up with this stuff, but I would still think it's pretty fucking rad. I think
I'll probably check it out.
You should.
Yeah,
Damn well should.
To me, my X-Men.
Damn, is Cyclops the leader?
What's up?
Is Cyclops the leader?
Yeah. I mean, he
cool.
typically always is.
Nice.
Unless it's Storm. There was literally like they fought for who was going to lead the X-Men one time in the comics,
Yeah.
and Storm didn't even have her powers, and she fucking won.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
I thought it was X-Man who was the leader.
Oh, X-Man, yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it. We were talking beforehand. Any of you guys that are X-Men fans, you ever have anybody call like Wolverine X-Man? Like, oh yeah, I like X-Man with his claws.
Yeah, X-Man is so cool.
It's like a very mom thing to say, you know? Like,
Have you heard? Oh, did you by the way see that new Deadpool trailer with X-Man in it?
Yeah, I did see that Deadpool and X-Man. Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Man, there's so much good shit coming out. It's like, and everybody's still cranking out their fucking MCU is dead takes, and it's like, man, I said yesterday on stream that I actually am glad that so many people are shitting on it and hating and saying, oh, it's done, it's whatever now, because honestly, Marvel in general, but especially Marvel Studios, is kind of just known for like their history is, you know, they came up against odds, right?
Yeah.
And so that tells me like we're just right around the corner from them fucking sailing seas again. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, and it's also like once you learn to differentiate what is just people buzzing on the internet and what the actual fan base is thinking, like you start to realize that Marvel are fine.
Mm-hmm. It's so fucking popular. It's like this hard to even conceptualize, but really, it's so fucking popular. The MCU, it's the most popular fucking media thing in the world, basically.
Yeah.
Other than like I guess like some sports thing, if that counts. But as far as like fiction media, it's the most popular thing, and like it's so popular that there is also a shitload of people who are like they're too cool for it. They gotta hate on it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's
once there's that big movie that's getting hype, everyone goes to see it. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the casting news from yesterday?
From the Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's right. We got a new here's the thing.
Sounds like we got a real problem out here. Any of you incels, QAnon, 4chan, Snyder Cut motherfuckers want to get on the line now? Anybody?
That's the thing.
Hell yeah, that's the thing. Here's the thing.
There is.
I've been seeing like some people on Twitter, people who I don't respect the opinion of, who are trying to like do the whole anti-Pedro Pascal thing now.
Oh god. Oh, is it because he said some stuff one time or something?
Well, that's why, but the reasons they use is different, right? But like that's why they want to do it, because they're like, oh, but Disney they didn't fire him, but they fired Gina Carano.
Actually, let me try this. Bagarn's escape pod. I mean, you might just be a troll, and that's why I've never seen you before, and you're just trying to point it out to be a douche. But like, let me know, help me out. So if I mute this right here, and then I try it again, does it still do it? Give me a hand here.
Sounds like we got a real problem out here. Any of you incels, QAnon?
Did it do it? Anybody?
What?
Well, because the drops echo whenever I have the screen share function.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Well, we can't hear it on our end. Now there's no echoes. Thank you, Bagarn's escape pod. I appreciate that.
Oh, nice.
Cool. So now I know how to make sure before I drop, I gotta mute the screen share function. Weird.
Oh, nice.
You'd think StreamYard would fucking do something about that problem.
Yeah, I wish. Cool.
Sorry,
No, yeah. So it's like, so they're like that is really why they want to say, right? But now they're saying things like, oh, he doesn't look like Reed Richards, therefore like they don't care about the character, which doesn't make sense. And then there's like apparently people are calling it Pascal fatigue, that he's just too much now. And it's like, ew.
Like you don't even see in like one of the main things he's in, you don't even see him. You know?
Yeah, it's also just crazy, like seeing an actor working in a bunch of things and like doing his job and just like, and people being like, oh, he should just stop. Why is he in so much?
Yeah.
Bro, I will not get tired of seeing him. If he got cast, yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, it's silly because like Yeah, it's definitely motivated by, politics to some degree, I think, but then also just I imagine that some of it is just that's like, those goddamn internet takes that some people, I guess, just don't have the I don't know what they're missing, that they can't form their own opinions or takes, so they latch on to
Yeah.
like a popular take that goes around, and then that just becomes their take too.
Exactly. It's
So
also like, yeah, he's also just like, because he doesn't like completely conform to like the, like the all big macho masculine man, right? Like like to me, he's a big sign of like masculinity, but he's also very comfortable in it. And he just like does what he wants to do. He like he supports trans people. He just like he's fine with just being like, hell yeah, I'm the daddy, right? I feel like a lot of conservatives who want to be like looked upon as like peak masculinity, right?
Yeah.
And they get jealous
Mhm.
because they're not him.
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
they're
like
not Pedro Pascal, and then that's, no one else could be.
to be the kind of masculine that they define masculinity as, it's like
Yeah.
easy, and it just like it comes not naturally really, but like it's so common in culture that it just comes easy to them. And so
Yeah.
like having to any kind of like, more, I guess, I don't want to say enlightened, that's kind of fucking, silly, but some type better type of of being masculine, right? Of like expressing your feelings and being confident in that, not feeling, like basically anytime I see these chuds that are like a woman is in something and they're like, oh, it's MCU or whatever, it's
Yeah.
like that to me is like the opposite of masculinity. That's telling me that you're like so insecure that
Exactly.
a woman's presence makes you fucking like, ah!
Ah! Yeah. It's
Uh.
it's crazy, and it's also so like as a man, right? It's also weird seeing other men being like that their ideal. They want to just be aggressive, right? They want to be the brooding, like they
The
just
dominant, yeah.
the dominant, right? And it's
There's like an
like
underlying violence to it, right? Like that's the only
exactly. There's so much more a man can be, you know?
and he can also be violent if need be.
Sure.
Like, but
Yeah.
like that's not like shouldn't
But
be the go-to, but sure, if you have some reason to have that in your repertoire, sure. But like,
sure, but it's not like it's weird that it's a goal.
no, it's and I mean, and
No?
it's all fucking it's performative. I mean, like we just yesterday, I we looked at a clip. It's more of that clip that from Az and Eric July together on their fucking show that's not
Oh
doing too
yeah.
well. But
Yeah.
like basically, Eric comes out and says that all this stuff you see on the internet, people act in a certain way, like getting attention, saying it's like it's all fake. He's all fake. He's not talking about, he's not talking about himself in the moment, but it does apply to him. And I, realized
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. So whenever he's like talking shit to Bob after their debate or whatever, not to Bob, but about him because he couldn't say it to his face.
Yeah.
That's all performative. He's not really a tough guy. He's not really gonna, fight anybody and stuff like that. He's just personality on the internet. And
Exactly.
it's performative, but at least he on some level knows it.
Yeah.
Um
I don't even think it's about just like self-defense, right? Like it's also just like wanting to dominate people when you have nothing going for you, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Like the kind of men who think that the ideal is to just be respected without gaining respect, you know? It's about gaining that, like being able to stand on that pillar, being higher than everyone else without deserving it. They want things. They want to be given special treatment. They want to be seen as the dominant person just because they're a man, right? They don't want to
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah, it's
like
just
there's nothing deeper to it.
you start off with a position of like you respect me for the being a man, and that's like that, anything less is I don't know. It's
Exactly.
really
And
fucked
once
us
you
up.
have that mindset, you don't have to like work on yourself. You don't need to do anything to gain that respect, right? If your perfect world, you are just seen as the leader, you're just seen as the king, you're just seen as like a pillar of respect, then you don't have to do anything. You know?
You know what masculinity is to me is it's what like strength of, and not just masculinity but even femininity and in certain regards is like just fucking self-awareness and
Yeah.
introspection and having the goddamn backbone to look at the ways that you're maybe I don't know, not living the best life you could be living. You're having a negative effect on people around you, and realizing that I can change things about myself without changing who I am fundamentally, and it also doesn't mean that I'm like, bowing down to some, fucking expectations or whatever. It's like it's actually just me being actually accountable and responsible for who I am. That's one thing that conservatives always talk about, personal responsibility and stuff, and they don't want to be responsible for themselves. They don't
No,
want to
they
be
don't.
accountable for shit. That's what cancel culture, quote unquote cancel culture, is all about. It's
Yeah.
like they can't fucking stand being held accountable, or just for saying stuff. Like, it's not like anybody's trying to arrest them or anything. It's just
No.
been like, hey, did you say
It's
this
just-
thing? Oh, cancel culture. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
just
you're trying to
asking.
get me. You're trying to ruin my whole livelihood. No, I'm just trying to get you to reflect over the ignorant shit you've said, right? And if you don't want to do that, that's very telling. But like, no one's forcing you to.
True, Lucifer. Like, Cyclops is he's a Chad. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like obviously there are some things in like society that we've just like there are more standards to what we classify as masculine and feminine traits, but it's also like masculinity also comes in many different shapes and sizes. Same with femininity, like you can be comfortable in your masculinity in completely different ways. Like,
it's honestly not something I ever really thought about for myself until
Yeah.
I started like paying attention to internet shit. It's like I never thought about how masculine do I come across or
yeah,
anything.
same.
It's
Like,
just that, yeah.
and most it was like when I was like, like 13, 14 and stuff. So like last year.
Yeah.
Where it was like when you're first like starting to grow up, right? And you're going through puberty and stuff. Like yeah, like there is some more of like the wanting, like I and that's why I get that a lot of young men are getting into this, right? Because in that age when I was growing up, I was very, when you're growing up, when you're going through puberty, you're an awkward person, especially if you're a guy. Like,
right.
Like, you're socially awkward. You don't really know how to talk to people. You don't really like yourself. You smell. You're kind of like you're kind of a goofball, right? But you're trying to be cool, and it's a very awkward period.
At the same time, like, girls tend to mature quicker. So you're looking around at if you're a straight person anyway, you're looking around at the girls going, man, there's like, oh, they're like women now, and I'm just like this goofy little bastard. But you try to tell yourself that you're manly, and there's all this social pressure. It's all this, at least for me, like, there was kids, even when I was like 14, 15, there were dudes talking about getting laid and stuff like that. And it's like, what do you, oh yeah, you guys are getting laid. Yeah, me too. Like, there's all this pressure to be something that is supposed to be what a guy does or whatever. And it's like, it sucks, man. It sucks.
And there is a lot of pressure from so many different things. It's just like all society and especially with the internet now, all the different like impressions we get on the internet from everywhere,
Yeah.
Like, both grifters, but also just like everywhere. We always get impressions of things. It can put a lot of pressure on, and obviously also like girls and women, right? But I don't know that perspective, of course.
Yeah.
But like, as a man, like I get it. There's a lot of young men who feel the pressure, right? It's a really awkward period. Your limbs grow suddenly, and then your proportions are all weird. Like, you just feel weird, but you want to be cool, right? You want to be that masculine person. You start gaining some muscle, right? You start getting some hair on your body. Usually, always your ass crack because you're unlucky, and and like, you want to appear cool. You want to grow up, you want to be a part of that whole world out there, but you're not quite there, and it's a tough time, and a lot of people struggle through it, right?
And that's not even count. That's like the general experience. Like, that's the broad experience.
Yeah.
That doesn't even count like individual experiences of like family dynamics that can contribute to that shit. And if you have a father that's like putting certain pressures on you because he thinks a boy is supposed to be certain things, and like, man, it's rough. And like, it's amazing that fucking honestly, kind of amazing that more kids don't get drawn into grifters. Of course, I guess it's like in the UK, they've got a real problem with Andrew Tate fans that are like 12 years old. So
yes.
Oh, by the way, Lucifer, a white one. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's pretty simple. But yeah, like, what was I gonna say? What did you just say? I'm saying that sometimes.
Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's just finish this off, because you're talking about masculinity. Just like what you're about to see right here is just alpha Chad, brainwaves coming through this video. Okay.
Yeah.
Magneto.
The last will and testament of Charles Xavier. Everything he built now belongs to me.
Oh damn. That's actually kind of epic.
Right.
But yeah. No, but like I was also about to say, like, I think it's similar for like the people growing up in like these newer generations with the internet and stuff. Like also a lot of the people have like around my age who I've talked to who are pretty progressive, right? Almost every other guy I've talked to has had some period, whether only a week or a couple of days or like even like months and stuff, where they've been into a little bit of that, like whether it was Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson, right? Or whether it was some like some of these like geeks and gamers and stuff, or whether probably now it's Andrew Tate. I think it's a very common thing for a lot of guys who feel a little bit awkward, right? To want to find some kind of validation online. And there are some certain spaces that give them that validation, right? Who tell them, oh, it's not your fault, right? Or it's not has nothing to do with you, right? It's other people, right? It's society. You need to do something about it. And to an extent, there are certain like societal things that create issues for boys, right? And also like it isn't their fault. But like in that, I guess in that age, it's harder to hear someone be like, trust the process, like work on yourself, like try to take responsibility for things and accountability. I think that's the more difficult choice than to hear some of these influences from people like a Jordan Peterson and stuff, or a Geeks and Gamers stuff, channels like those. And I think a lot of young men get into that. Luckily, I also think most young men grow out of it.
Well, speaking of growing out of stuff, it's a good opportunity for me to promote what I'm doing tomorrow on my channel, and I think I'm going to have a guest. I think he'll be available so far, it seems like, but if so, it's going to be really cool. If not, it'll be cool anyway. But like doing another episode, be the second time I do this of what do I call it? Get the branding up here. Out of the Dark. Former anti-fans tell their stories. We had Dane on one time. He was a former fandom menace kind of guy, and he talked a bit about what was attractive about that stuff in the first place, and more or less what it was like and how he got out and everything. Very appreciative of that. And by the way, if you have a story like that, I want to talk about it. If you don't want to be, if you don't want to use your name, your real name, that's fine. If you're uncomfortable with being on live stream, we can do a recording of it. But generally, like if you have a story and you feel like you can share it, then it can be pretty valuable to people to hear that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And so another thing I'm going to do with this is I found a source for kind of like brief testimonials, like accounts of what drew them into like Fandom Menace content, and then how they got out. And it's kind of awesome that I found this, and I don't want to give away the source just because I don't want anybody to go bother anybody.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be using their names or anything like that, but so I'll be talking a little bit about that. I can read one now if that's cool.
Sounds good.
But first, I want you to tell me what was Saturday mornings like for you as a kid.
Oh yes. Well, it's like I don't have a particular memory of like Saturday mornings. Like
lame.
Like as a thing. I think it was more just like weekend mornings.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's the same with you, because because there wasn't much of a difference between like Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like whenever you didn't have school the next morning, right? It would be like you wake up, you go watch TV, or you go play video games with your brother, right? And then sometimes like your friends would come over and stuff, and it'd be really fun. We did have one thing where it's like Friday nights at around like 7, there was always this like Disney show thing that there was like for kids, and that's usually where like kids would get their little bowls of candy for Friday night, and they watch the little Disney show for an hour where there's some old school like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, like very like old school cartoons, and then more of the newer stuff, and that's still even to this day a thing. Granted, I was only 6 last year, so
right. Well,
that's not saying much. But yeah, so I guess that's like from my childhood the most consistent weekly cartoon thing. But I mean, I remember for me it was the thing I mostly I was looking forward to was a period like every day after school they'd be showing anime from like 4 to 6, and there'd be like Dragon Ball and Naruto and stuff, and I'd always
See,
like rush home from school to see that.
dude, I had that. Okay, so we do have one shared experience there because when I was in high school, I mean, I wasn't into anime or anything really, but I did get into Dragon Ball Z, and I would rush home, and it would play at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
You know, so there we go. We connected on that one. But yeah,
Hell
man, I was super into the Dragon Ball Z shit. Like, basically, I stopped watching a little bit after the Cell saga ended.
So you have not watched the Boo saga?
I've seen some of it. It's just, after you have a villain like Cell, like then you get Boo. It's like, I don't know, man. It's kind of lame.
I mean, Boo was probably, when I was younger, he was my favorite, just because he was insane and I was a little crackhead. But growing older, I'm like now that I want a little bit more substance from my villains, I'm like, yeah, there are better villains in Dragon Ball than fucking
Cell
Boo.
was so fucking rad because he literally drains the fucking life from these, and then gets stronger. Oh my god.
And then he has so much fucking pride, and that pride is so fucking fragile.
Yep. And like the one of the greatest moments of like TV experience for me ever was when, spoiler alert, Gohan fucking beat his ass.
Turning Super Saiyan 2. I remember on our crusty ass, like my dad's crusty ass computer when we lived in Ghana when I was like younger, and I'd go onto that and the internet that was horrible, and I'd be loading a video for like 2 hours that was only like 3 minutes, and it was like an AMV, like an anime music video with Linkin Park Numb to like the Gohan versus Cell fight, and I watched that on repeat.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, look, to be fair, I wasn't watching it as it was airing the Frieza saga. So like, I imagine I would have liked Frieza a lot more if I'd have watched it like that. I know that's a big part of why I was so into Cell as it was kind of airing, I was watching it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I did go back and watch the Frieza stuff, but it was like, he's all right, but Cell.
I mean, Frieza. I mean, Cell. He has the whole like pride, and he's like making a tournament, right? He wants to be the best fighter. Frieza's racist.
That's kind of fucked up.
Frieza calls the monkeys, man.
Yeah, wow.
He blew up a planet of people because he didn't like their race.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's kind of cringe thing to do. Yeah. Okay, so,
but I mean, honestly, like the new X-Men things looks interesting. Do you think I'd be able to just like watch it from there?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Because I don't believe that they are making it so that you have to have watched the original. Like they have to be. It's definitely a kind of like a reset point that it will make sense. So it'll make sense if you've seen the previous stuff, but also a good starting point for new people.
Yeah, I might just watch a quick like recap.
One thing I thought about doing though, by the way, like, and maybe I'll still do this. It's something I thought about doing for like Patreon people or whatever, is just hanging out on weekends, like on a Saturday night or whatever, and watching some episodes of the X-Men the Animated Series, like a Discord or some shit.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in something like that, let me know. Might do that. Might try that out this weekend or something.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, here's a. Find a good one here.
Yes.
So it's interesting, this source that I found, like reading the different reasons why people kind of snapped out of what they're being into that content and that kind of that realm of shit.
Yeah,
a lot of people seem to have been snapping out of it since COVID, which that makes sense to a degree because the content has not been doing as well in general since
makes
then.
sense. People are getting out.
Yeah, like basically COVID, and one person even says this here, that like COVID caused a lot of people to just really examine the world we live in a little bit more, instead of just taking everything for granted. And let's see.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, here's one. I think for a lot of folks, it was once the fandom menace went from critiques of Star Wars with right-wing dog whistles to more openly bringing up alt-right talking points.
Hmm.
2020 was probably the big turning point on that front, since the sequel trilogy was over and people continuing to harp on it were looking more and more obsessed. Plus, of course, 2020 just generally made people a lot more aware of right-wing radicalization pipelines.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Cool.
So this person here says, for me, I was in secondary school when a lot of this anti-SJW sentiment was happening online, and some of the people I was friends with were very impressionable and got suckered into that rhetoric. I was also convinced by it for a while, although this was before the sequel trilogy had become really controversial. SJW was tossed around as much as woke was. Hell, I was even watching Jordan Peterson videos until I found out he supported mandatory conception. I don't even know. I mean, I know what that means, I guess, but like, oh god. What got me out of
I
that
don't even want to
situation?
know that.
What got me out of that situation was simply passing secondary school, cutting contact with that group of people, and being friends with people in A level that weren't assholes. That and my parents are left wing, longtime NHS workers, so the politics have been have more influence on me than some dumbass teens I knew when I was also a dumbass teen. Then there's another, like, the reasons are kind of broad. Like this next guy's is like I stopped drinking as much. That's basically he
damn.
sobered up and realized, oh, this content is fucking garbage.
Yeah,
you know,
Jesus.
I'd get home pissed drunk and be influenced by that shit. Stopped drinking as much, was able to see how stupid it was. Some friends helped by pointing out flaws in my drunk ass arguments.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Kudos to him. So yeah, we'll be looking at some more of those tomorrow, as well as hopefully, I don't want to announce the name or anything until I know for sure, but if my guest is going to be available tomorrow, then that's going to be fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
He's got some insights for sure.
I hope they will be.
So here is a funny thing.
Oh, please do tell.
Comments got disabled after people started calculating Luke and Rey's training on this. So,
trained in the Jedi Arts for 800 years. I was trained for more than a decade by Obi-Wan. I was trained and taught by Obi-Wan, and Yoda. Wait, you guys trained?
And so, yeah, apparently they disabled the comments once people started actually, looking at how much time Luke spent training versus Rey.
Yeah.
And now, granted, Rey did seem to be focused more on, like the meditation and the inner aspect of Jedi, but she was already fucking pretty good with the physical shit. Like Luke didn't know how to fight.
No, that's that's always bugged me, right? Like people assuming that they're on the same level, which is just not the case, right? Luke like grew up on a farm with two loving parent figures who like he'd never been in a fight, right? Like he was training to be a pilot, sure, but he didn't have to fend for himself and survive in the same way that Rey did, who grew up on another desert planet in a harsh environment without any parents, without any love. Probably like if we're going into the darker parts of Star Wars, there's probably a lot of people who want to take advantage of a little girl and just her in general in while growing up and stuff. She's probably had to fend for herself, as we see with some of the fucking bandits she beats up.
Yeah,
in the beginning of Force Awakens. Like
it's almost a daily. You got to think it's probably almost a daily occurrence for her growing up that she's got to fight for her fucking life.
Yeah, exactly.
Against big dudes and whatnot.
Yeah, we see her be very sufficient with the staff, and also just like fighting in general with weapons. It seems, and it's like her and Luke are not in the same like starting point. She's already miles ahead of him. If not even just like in skill, which she still is, but like if people don't want to accept that, it's like, oh, a lightsaber is different than a staff. Just like in basic things that are important to fighting, like just like fight IQ,
Yep.
Like, we footwork, like right, knowing how to move in a fight. Also, just the physicality of the fight. It's different.
Yes.
It's like oh, men and women, like that doesn't matter. Like the movements for fighting, the flexibility, then all those things. She starts in a much better place than Luke, and they have basically the same amount of training.
Pista, like I don't think we really care about it either. We're only caring about it in the sense that we're pointing out how they prove themselves, that they don't actually engage with what's happening in the films. They just are like basing it on, I don't know, their headcanon or whatever. We talked about before. I remember we had a conversation about how Rey, like at the end of the Force Awakens, like there's some chuds that'll be like, oh, she managed to beat Kylo Ren. It's like, not really. She didn't beat him. Like he
No.
first of all he got fucking slashed. He was already bleeding pretty heavily.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
There's
think that
I feel like I always get worked up when I hear about that Rey and Kylo fight because the people who don't like they purposefully misunderstand the things that are shown to us.
Yep.
Right. And I'm very much on the side when it comes to film about like we each have our own perspectives about the themes and what we think of the quality and stuff, right? But there are some things that the filmmaker is trying to show us to provide context for the scene. And one of those is that right before fighting Rey, Kylo gets shot by a fucking Wookiee bowcaster, which multiple times in the movie has been shown to blow up rocks and send stormtroopers flying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he gets
they fly
right
across the
belly.
battlefield.
Yeah. And he's visibly bleeding and hurt. You see it. He's like pounding his thing.
He's also psychologically fucking hurt, which actually, if you know kind of a little bit about Sith lore, that should technically help him, but it's still, he's physically
But he's not a Sith Lord.
True.
He is conflicted.
True.
That's the whole thing, right? Like there's a difference when we look at like Darth Maul, right? Darth Maul is just a being of like he is hateful, right? When he gets cut in half, it's like, okay, yeah, like he just used the dark side to just like keep himself alive because he was so intent on killing Obi-Wan and getting his revenge, right?
Well, but whenever what's her name from Ahsoka
Reva.
gets like a little gets stabbed through the abdomen, like
I
can't believe there's so many videos came out about that, like this is ridiculous. This would kill her. It's like
exactly, it's like fucking Darth Maul does it, but even like with Darth Maul and Kylo Ren, like those two things are different, right? Because Darth Maul in that moment, he's not conflicted. He is just fully like vengeful and hateful towards Obi-Wan, right? He wants revenge. Here in this moment, right? Kylo isn't like he's conflicted. He has mixed feelings about killing his dad. It's not just a pure like hate thing. There's like hate and love there.
He feels he's supposed to, and
exactly,
and he doesn't really want to. Yeah,
which is why he has like tears in his eyes when he's doing it and stuff, right? And he's struggling to do it.
And salute Adam Driver for that, man. What a fucking good actor.
Bro, Adam Driver's great in those movies. So it's like, right before fighting Rey, he has been shot by a deadly ass weapon and he's walking it off, pounding his chest and bleeding visibly, right? He's like crippled. He's also just killed his dad. He's crippled. He's in emotional turmoil right now. And then third, which people also don't seem to, he's not trying to kill Rey. The whole, like, there's a point where they're like locked in like lightsabers together, where he could kill her, he could overpower her right there, but he's trying to like talk her into joining him. This is when Rey gets the second win, when she like tries to like she attunes to the Force, right? She has her Luke moment, and then she suddenly like turns it on him, and he's surprised, and she ends up beating him right there, and then the fucking ground splits and she goes away, right?
So
there's so much in this fight that's showing that he's not trying to kill her, that he's hurt and he's in turmoil.
Calm down. It's okay.
Well,
okay, so like I learned something. I learned a thing that you guys should use in the wild if you encounter the situation. If you ever see anybody calling Rey a Mary Sue, and she's like, she's just so powerful, she's just so fucking like, you think she could beat Luke? Do you think she could beat Anakin? Ask him that.
Yeah,
watch their fuir heads explode, right? Because if she's a Mary Sue, then but that's going to be their urge to call her Mary Sue, but is going to conflict with their like idea that these are the best fucking characters ever in Star Wars and shit.
Yeah, exactly. She also she gets toyed with by Snoke in The Last Jedi. She also gets toyed with by Luke Skywalker. That's another thing when they're like, oh, she overpowers Luke Skywalker. No, he beats her with a fucking like metal pole of an antenna or some shit, and he's like toying with her until she force pulls out a lightsaber, which he's not going to do because he's not trying to like intimidate her like that, like if he wanted to, he could also pull that lightsaber and kill her, right? Like
I think so
that's
too.
Another thing. And then also in the Rise of Skywalker, she loses to Kylo Ren. She only like gets to stab him because Leia kicks in, and you know, and she does her whole forced death thing, whatever that is, right? Which causes like which stops Kylo from killing Rey, and it causes him to drop his lightsaber, where she then takes the opportunity to stab him.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
she loses.
Not only do I think that Rey could beat him, like just in terms of physicality, but like you think about their attitudes prior to really the plots kicking off, and like she's like just like stoic and badass already basically, and he's just like, well, I want to go to Toshi Station.
Yeah,
and you know, like, come on. Anyway, you know, but that's it. That's it. I'm not trying to shit on Luke, because Luke, look, he's still one of my favorite characters ever. He comes up, he does a quick come up, and I'm not shitting on that at all. I'm just, all this is just to serve. It serves the purpose of like showing the uneven, unfair, fucking bullshit analysis that these guys are doing on Rey, just because I don't know what it is about her.
It's just like it's not even like, if someone doesn't like Rey as a character, that's fine, right? Like you don't have to. It's just people lie about what's happening in the movies, and they don't look at the content. And it's like, yes, pre-training Rey would take pre-training Luke in a fight any day. That's established in the movies. But it's also like, that doesn't matter. They also have two completely different character arcs, right?
Yep.
Like Luke's is a very traditional hero's journey. We love seeing him go from that ignorant little kind of useless farm boy, right, who just has dreams of something grander, and then he goes on this big adventure, and everything's very overwhelming, but he eventually goes through the obstacles and becomes the hero, right? Rey's story is very different, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like,
so one of the things that you know, we did that video, we did the Fabcast about Mary Sue, and you know, we uploaded on my channel a segment of it where we responded to a video that kind of is just Mahler describing why Rey is Mary Sue, and it's just like, it's fucking bizarre. Like, what?
Yeah,
you know, he's saying she has no problems, she has no burdens, she's got nothing, you know, she's just nothing wrong with this angelic creature, she's just so perfect. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because she's so desperate for validation that she fucking attaches herself to Han Solo, he gets fucking killed, and then she's lost, you know. And then fucking, you know, she spends like the whole trilogy basically just lost, essentially till the, you know, the end of Last Jedi anyway, because she's like trying to find someone to fucking tell her who she is and if she's good enough and all this shit. And it's like, it's not, none of that is said specifically in the text, but like, you got to be able to kind of read the subtext.
At least at least understand what's trying to be done with her character, right? You might not like it, but at least try to understand what they're going for, right? Like personally, I really like most of like Rey's arc, right? It's like in the first, like in the first one, she's searching for meaning, right? She's trying to let other people give her meaning. And it's like at towards the end, it's almost like she feels like she's on the path, right? She has that path ahead of her, right? She's become like somewhat of a Jedi. She's going to see Luke Skywalker. He's gonna give her a legacy, right? He doesn't turn out to be what she was expecting. And then in The Last Jedi, she has to come to grips with these answers, that she is nothing special. No one's gonna give her a role in the story in the galaxy. She has to take that for herself. That's why I loved like the twist that her parents were no one. I thought that was the most interesting thing that could have happened to
absolutely
Rey.
And it stayed that way. They just stuck with that, and I love that they made that choice to stick with that that reveal.
For sure.
And Rise of Skywalker followed up on it and everything.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to Rise of Skywalker, I've had my issues with that they go back on that. But like I think I've also come to terms that like I've accepted the Rise of Skywalker for what it is in terms of her arc, where it's like there is the whole that now she's gotten like used to the idea of being no one, and like being that she has to find her own strength, right? And that she can choose to be good.
Then it's okay. Yeah, I get that.
And then suddenly that's ripped away from her, and like she's the granddaughter of the most evil person in the entire galaxy, right? And now she starts questioning herself again.
It might not have been possible for her to cope with that reveal if she had not had that first thing first, right? Like, where she had to have that period of time of just thinking, okay, I'm nobody special. But then like now you find out you're literally, you know, you're this offspring of the fucking, you know, your daddy is a clone of the Emperor he shot fat ropes around and you know, made you, and like And here you are. It's like, yeah, she wouldn't have been able to cope with that if that was just like there was no middle step. I think.
Yeah,
It
and
just
it's like
would have been too much more.
yeah, and it's like ultimately, I think it's more interesting that she's no one, but it's like I've come to I've learned to understand what can
I
be
have
gained
not
from
watched
the Rise
Rise
of
of
Skywalker.
Skywalker again since the first time in theaters. I'm so
Damn.
hesitant to do it, man. Like because I'm like, dude, I mean, you understand. Like, but I mean, not really because you've had like 1/8 of the time with this franchise that I have. All right.
True.
You know, it's like been there since my earliest memories, essentially, of just like watching this stuff with my brothers and whatnot, and being engrossed in it. And Luke Skywalker, the Skywalker fucking story, and then for it to, you know, I don't know, just this is supposed to be the end of that. I mean, I guess I could look at, you know, Last Jedi as the end of the thing in a way, but it's still not the same. And like, yeah, I don't know. It does so many things that are fucking against all sense to me, you know, like based on where we
Yeah.
left off with Last Jedi, that I'm afraid that I'll just hate it all over again and I'll be angry at Star Wars again. And
Yeah.
it took me a long time to be able to watch like Mandalorian, Boba Fett and stuff without
Oh,
like
damn.
just kind of being frustrated the whole time.
Yeah.
It really wasn't until Andor that I was like finally just I felt love for Star Wars again.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that's and that is generally sad that so many people like feel like they lost love for the franchise that they loved, you know?
and so I made a YouTube channel and I just started talking shit on it all the time, like every day, saying, you know, that's what you do, right?
Yeah, exactly, of course. And then also go into every other franchise after you've milked Star Wars.
I
No,
did want to respond to this though, Lawrence.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they didn't. They aren't. They're not upset. I have to point that out. I think it's really important to point out and to keep in mind that these people are not upset. They're not mad. They're not fucking. They don't feel anything except, oh, this is an opportunity to fucking performatively act like we care about this stupid thing that is nobody cares about, but we're going to make a big deal out of it because we want the clicks, and that's it. I just, you know, I'm being pedantic, I know, but like at the same time, it is, I think, kind of important that everybody, as much as possible, stop thinking about them being as sincere people, right? Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, it's, I mean, just like to end off, like with the Rise of Skywalker, I watched it. I remember rewatching again for like when I wanted to make, when I was making like my why it's great videos, where it was like, let me see these movies that are kind of controversial or that I don't like, I don't love them, but then try to like explain, okay, from someone who loves this, right? From my perspective, like what could make someone love this movie? And it gave me a different perspective on the movie, at least.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That's why I'm kind of been putting it off, is like I hope I can watch it to
Yeah.
you know, that I can do it in a frame of mind that like allows me to appreciate stuff about it and not just completely reject it.
Yeah.
Bald since 16, yes. So if you've never heard of Rewriting Ripley, it actually is kind of almost just inarguable that is that's their biggest win. They won on that, and that's another layer to that really fucks me up. It's not just that Lucasfilm made some bad decisions with their final film. It's that they made bad decisions based on what they thought was sincere fan response. And they've since learned, I think, that that's not the case, but too late. You know what I mean? Like that movie's done. You know, I think that, like, you know, the stuff with Reva and whatnot, I think that showed that they finally figured out that, like, okay, we're not gonna fucking just, you know, bend over to let these shitheads on the internet, you know, be this way to our cast and about everything that we put out. But like at that point, everybody, myself included, was still a little bit naive to what was going on with the anti-fandom thing. And so like it did seem like a lot of sincere, and I'm not saying that if you don't like The Last Jedi that you're not sincere. I know there's fucking reasons not to like it or whatever. But by and large, I mean, if you look at the freaking the scores of the thing, you look at the money that it made, you know, I don't know that I've really talked to anybody that's not just some random chud on the internet that hates it. You know what I mean? Like there's some people that have criticisms of it. It's like, I didn't like that it did this, but they're not like, there's not a lot of people that in the wild, so to speak, that are just rejecting The Last Jedi completely and saying it ruined the franchise and stuff like that. That's
it's also a weird thing to still be hung up on, you know? Like if you didn't like it and you thought it was like the worst Star Wars movie, right? Or that it really just wasn't for you. I don't I can't imagine someone like that just like still 5-6 years afterwards still being hung up on it, saying this is horrible, this is like this ruined everything. And it's like
dude,
no,
they're
most people move on.
pissed to their clones of Palpatine, so they fucked. They're Palpatine fucked. Okay, I'm saying like they're clones and they fucked. All right. Not only did Palpatine fuck, but presumably maybe several Palpatines fucked. Okay,
probably.
We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
I did look up a while back. I did look up because I was confused about exactly because, like I said, I only seen Rise of Skywalker once, and I was like, wait, did they say is he her daughter or his daughter or a clone's daughter? Like, what was it? And the movie seemed kind of unclear from what I remembered.
I think. I mean, her dad is, I think, the clone.
He was. So the lore is that, and of course this isn't in the movie, but like the lore is that he was a clone that would not. He was basically trying to create a clone that could accept his force load, so to speak, right? That could carry the power that he carried. And there was a lot of failures. And basically, her father was one who I guess he didn't kill or got escaped or something like that, and went and slung some fat ropes. So that's who her father was.
As you do.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. But yeah, if you check out Rewriting Ripley, it really is a pretty exhaustive breakdown of how they had an effect on this shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Anyway, good conversation, and thank you. Upon further investigation, glad you're enjoying it. Happy to hear.
Thank you. Yes, very good, very good. I mean, whenever you want me to talk a lot, just bring up the sequels, man.
Apparently so.
I always have.
I talked about fucking X-Men and stuff, man. So like, I'm glad I gave you got an opportunity to, and if you want to talk more about something, just tell me to shut up.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, it's just like what?
Oh, I was gonna say, do you remember Masters of the Universe Revelation Revelation, and how you don't? Did you watch that at all? No.
Masters of.
It was a Netflix cartoon show that Kevin Smith was the writer and producer on, and he came out. Yes, He-Man came out a couple of years ago, and all the chuds were talking about it. It was a bait and switch, so to speak. Because it starts off and Adam / He-Man gets killed, and like the spoiler alert, gets killed in like the first episode.
No!
But at the same time, he didn't really get killed. Okay, like he comes back, and it's awesome when he does. But it gives the opportunity for the show, the season, to focus on characters that were always in the lore from the old, toy commercial cartoon. But like actually kind of build out these characters in the world and the lore more. And then whenever He-Man comes back in like the last or next to last episode, it's fucking epic. It's the finale of that is one of the best animated like finales of anything I've ever seen. It's fucking phenomenal. And it was great. And it got really, good reviews and stuff like that, except for the chuds did a lot of grifting on it. But then there's the second part is out now called Revolutions, and it's out. And not a peep from these chuds that just a couple of years ago, they loved it. They loved it so much that they just couldn't stop bitching about it, or they loved the original He-Man so much that they couldn't stop bitching about this new one. And now nothing. Almost like they're insincere grifters, and it, they don't. How are you going to spin it whenever everybody seems to? Anyway.
Yeah. Would you recommend watching these?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I haven't seen the second part, but I mean, from what I've seen, the ratings are also very high, and everybody's saying it's great as well. So
yeah, I mean, because the ratings for the first one are quite low, but like
really,
I mean, at least on IMDb, but like that makes sense if it had like grifters after it.
I mean, I don't think it's anybody that's being real with it, man. Like anything in the 80s was a fucking toy commercial, because that was when, prior to, I got a video where I talked about this. It's got the rated R, the video I did on rated R movies and stuff that basically spawned animated series and toys for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been review bomb. That's what I thought.
But anyway, it's I'm looking on IMDb. It has 27% of its reviews are 1 reviews
or 1 star.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely bomb.
out of 10. That is insane. 7.8 thousand 1-star reviews.
That's and like y'all don't realize that you fucking make it so obvious whenever you do that. Like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, look, this is really bad. And you go look, and you're like, what are all these? Well, that's just.
I mean,
that's just
even
the fans. They don't like
even
it.
if you just legitimately really hate what they do with the story, where it's like, you know, they take He-Man out of the action for a good chunk of the season just so they can bring him back. By the way, when he comes back, it's just such an epic fucking awesome thing that it's like worth it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
at the same time, even if you just hate all that stuff, the animation is fucking sick, dude. You can't rate that shit 1 star. The animation is awesome. Like, it legitimately kicks ass. So you have to, I don't know, you aren't actually rating it honestly, clearly. Anyways,
yeah, I mean, it's like similar to how, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Like movies that I just really do not like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the recent one? Quantumania. As you all know, I have a distaste for this movie.
Same.
I would never in my mind give it close to a 1.
No.
It is not. It's not.
Like, look, I can do one. Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Because I legitimately think almost every fucking plot choice in that movie is fucking bizarre and stupid, and I hate it, right? But every action scene, like, it looks like it legitimately is one of the best looking Star Wars movies there is. Like, the shit that happens in it visually is fucking phenomenal. It's great.
For
and
sure.
You know, so I would not rate it a 1 because
like that is almost disrespectful to all the talented people who've worked on it. And it's just
I mean,
I know,
how can you ask a quick question about that video? Like, I mean, I have to give you a 6-hour response to this question.
I mean, it's also usually, I don't know if this is the case for some people. I know everyone's different with how they would like to watch things. If I'm watching a show and so far it's a 1 to me after like 1 or 2 episodes, I'm not finishing it. It is not worth my time then.
Right.
Like I don't know other people's standards for things, but if something is a 1 to me, it is absolutely not worth my time.
Not watchable. It's not even fucking watchable. Like, it actually is making me upset to watch it or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I mean, I'm not gonna, just real quick, I'm not gonna give any real specific responses on Mahler content like this video or that video, because as I've said before, just I fundamentally disagree with and think is stupid the kind of foundation of his analytical lens. So I just anything is going to be, you might have some takes I agree with here and there or whatever, that's bound to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, like someone like this who's watched like the first couple episodes of Velma, and then they're like, well, I'm not watching that. Like, I'm not the type of person who will want to waste my time if there's something that I find zero enjoyment of. I don't. Maybe that's something some people like to do. It's definitely not what people on the internet who like to hate on stuff do, right? I don't think they're watching a show that they know they'll dislike because they have some kind of like, oh, I love watching just awful things. I think it's more that review, like they'll make money off of it, you know, if they call it woke or they call it hate on it and stuff. You know, like something like Velma, which a lot of people, I think a lot of people probably didn't want to watch that, but if they could get attention off of saying that it sucks and all this stuff, then they were going to do it. And there are some people who like to watch bad stuff. I think that can be fun, especially like if you're with a group of friends.
Like he's talking about Anchorman, talking about The Room here. Like, this is what I mean. Like,
no, that
general,
is not
like,
a 1 star.
No, yeah, I mean, you can. There's a lot of enjoyment. They have midnight screenings of The Room where people, you know, there's like if you've ever done the Rocky Horror Picture Show thing where there's like all these corresponding gestures and things you say and props and stuff that the crowd uses during certain moments in the movie. Similar thing with The Room. You know, so there's like the forks thing and all kinds of shit that, you know, people say the lines along with it, and that's a good time. People have a great time doing that. And it's like, how can that be a bad movie You know,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it does everything essentially on every level. It does everything filmmaking wise that you don't want to do generally. It's just
Yeah.
he shot
No,
it with
that
like it's just insane the shit that he did. But
it is. But and that's the thing again, right? Like if there's a movie that I put on to have a laugh at how bad it is, that to me is not a 1-star movie. You know? That it had entertainment value
but
at the
like
very least.
yeah, and so like
The
the
one thing
Maestro,
is unwatchable.
this proves kind of the point of like you saying the room is a 6 out of 10 doesn't tell us about the room or like what really you were talking about, right? Like that doesn't convey anything. That's why these things are
Yeah,
kind of arbitrary.
it
I'm not
is.
saying you're wrong or anything. I'm not trying to call you out. It's just like you're helping me prove the point of like, you know, to say that is to, you know, oh, you actually thought it was a good movie. It's like, well, no, not really. But like the experience that I had with some certain the context of the environment you're in, the people you're with, the
Yeah.
attitude you have going into the movie, what you're expecting to get out of it, all of that stuff plays a role, and all of that means that it's not objective. I did some thought experiments one time where I was like, what if you're somebody who you've lived in an underground bunker all your life
Mhm.
and you
Yeah.
haven't ever seen a movie before, right? And you
Yeah.
get out and somebody shows you The Room, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be the best movie you've ever fucking seen because it's gonna be the only one. But I mean, like, you know, you may think that that is the way movies are done, and then every movie you see after, they're like, wait, this isn't fucking right. You know what I mean? It's
This is not The Room.
or you know, I don't know. And I know that's an absurd, extreme example, but it does prove the point. I think that it really we bring in what we have with us, and a lot of us, you know,
For
of course,
sure.
we have a lot of the same experiences. A lot of us watch Star Wars, a lot of us watch Marvel stuff, and blah blah blah. We all seen these movies, and we all kind of have that shared, you know, appreciation for a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
So in that regard, we can kind of like we, we compare what we're seeing, the news thing that we're watching, to the old thing that we all experienced. And but
Yeah.
like if somebody's, you know, grows up on Bollywood movies or something like that, they might think that the, you know, fucking the newest cool Marvel movie is like, what is this shit? Where's the fucking dancing and stuff?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
my girlfriend, she's from India, and she's grown up, she grew up on Bollywood movies, and she's been showing me a lot of them, and it's like there's a lot of them that I've been enjoying a lot, but a lot of them are also very different kinds of movies, you know?
yeah,
Like
I've
a
seen
big blockbuster is almost weird if it doesn't have original songs and dances and stuff. Like it would almost be weird, and it's just like that. They're different. They're
Mhm.
that compared to like most Hollywood blockbusters, they're completely different types and styles of movies. I mean there's like Bollywood also has some um movies that look more like the movies we're used to, right? Like they have horror movies as well. They have dramas and stuff. They're not all have big songs and stuff, but most of the big budget blockbuster movies they do. And like you said, there's not.
Well,
it depends on a lot on like perspective.
Well, so do we want to get into like looking at anything like any content, chud content today, or do we just want to bypass that for the
I
day?
don't think so. I think we're having.
Okay, because I
I'm
mean,
enjoying
so
them. Yeah, I'm
me
enjoying what
too,
we're
me
talking
too.
about.
But Philip did bring this up, and it's just kind of coincidence that this is a channel. This is the channel that I looked at yesterday,
Oh.
and they are connected to a website that is the one that now John Trent seems to be focusing his interest in now that I guess he sold
Yeah.
Bounding into Comics or whatever. I don't even want to say their name. But this channel was also streaming with at least one or two of the guys that I saw on freaking Midnight's Edge stream.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, you're absolutely right, Philip. They are fucking chuds, but
Yeah,
nonetheless.
maybe we'll look at them at some point.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, Bollywood movies slap. But so I actually have like a video coming out that I wrote a while ago, but it's just almost like an opinion piece for me. At just like about the whole objective subjective, like trying to look at the different views of what people could say.
Mhm.
And because I know we've said before, like the whole where it has to do with like, well, if movies are objective, or how can movies be objective if I disagree, right?
That's my thing.
Yeah, and it's like I want to take that a step further, right? Because it's like I agree with it under like a certain like once we establish some stuff, right? Because it's like disagreement in of itself does not mean that something is not objective, I think, because like for example, I think we'd both say it's pretty close to like objective that we can come that like the earth is not flat, that there is a universe, right? But still there are people who will disagree with that.
Yeah, but they're but they're wrong.
Yeah, they're wrong. So it's like in of itself, disagreement does not mean that something is subjective necessarily. But there is a big difference between something like the flat Earth discussion and something like art, because something like the flat Earth discussion it is bounded in the real like concrete world, a world that exists outside of humans, if that makes sense. Where it's like stuff like biology and science and stuff like that, even though it's all like it's all studied through our perspectives, right? Like everything we understand about the world is through our own definitions and our own understandings, and it could be wrong. But
if like aliens came down like and kidnap us and they study our biology, they're gonna see the exact same shit. They might call it something different. They might, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And they might understand it differently, right? Like we could even be wrong about some stuff, but there is a world that we're studying,
right,
that exists outside of humans. But art doesn't do that because art is an inherently human creation, right? Like,
that's a good point.
Yeah, like art does not exist in the real world. It is us who has made things art, right?
Valerium, I don't know how to say your name. Like, I mean, obvious Mahler fan is obvious. I'm sorry.
There are some people who think it is very objective, but it's like, and so I think there's a big difference between, because either way, right? Like science and art, it is experienced through our subjective experiences, right? But one of them, we are experiencing and like studying a concrete world that exists outside of us, whereas in the other one, we are studying and experiencing a field that we have created.
True.
So it's like science is the objective world studied through. We can try to be objective, but it is still a subjective lens, right? Because it's our experiences, our biases, and all that. But art is a subjective world that is also experienced subjectively. So it's like, and I hope that argument comes like to light in the video. But that's kind of like the argument I'm making. So it's like we can always try to have our own standards, right? We can try to be more objective, right? There are some movies that most people agree are better than others, right? Like disaster movie or like Room. A lot of people would argue that Shawshank Redemption is an objectively better movie, right? And I think a lot of people would agree with that. But at the end of the day, we can try to be more objective or try to remove some of our bias, but I don't think we can ever truly get there.
Have we? I mean, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything, but like, did we actually say that he said that? Because I mean, I don't believe that I would have said that. I don't think that he does, because no, he doesn't. You know, if he doesn't actually analyze the entirety of films anyway, he doesn't really ever talk about the craft of filmmaking. He doesn't talk about, you know, photography and lighting and you know, sound design or, you know, any shit like that. It's like typically he's focused on, they are focused on the plot. It's more or less what they zero in on. And what, you know, when it comes to that, like the reason that they often are kind of just silly with their takes is you're only, oh my God, dude, we're not doing this, man. Like, do you realize that like you're basically just a fucking clone of 1,000 other dudes who have come through our chats anytime Mahler's mentioned, like literally anytime he's mentioned, at least one of you shows up and you start saying the exact same things because you're kind of in a cult, man. Like, get outside of that shit.
I mean, I think the main thing is like I've never watched a Mahler video or talked to any of his fans and gotten a satisfying argument for why film is objective, right? Or why a certain movie is just objectively bad, right? I've never gotten a solid explanation for that. So if you have one, like a good argument, then by all means give
so
that.
I mean, what I was going to say is that like there's examples of them making points about something that happens in a show or a movie or whatever, and it's like they don't understand the real life context that's being expressed. And
Mhm.
you know, so for example, I think it was Wakanda Forever or something like that, where one of them said, I don't remember which one it was, so you know, sorry if I'm not being exact here, because they like to zero in on that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But one of them said something like, how are they building buildings underwater, you know, or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah.
and everywhere across the world, underwater welders fucking like, they're like, oh, you forgot about us, you know, like, or didn't know we exist. I guess it's like
Yeah.
they can build things underwater, man. It's like that nobody pushed back on that. Nobody said, oh, dude, they fucking build things underwater. That's a stupid thing to say. Nobody said that. They just moved on and said the next thing about whatever. And it's like they're way too sure of themselves, and they're not actually, they're incurious people. They're overconfident. They're inexperienced. Like I've said before, that it kind of just comes off like kind of post hoc rationalizations of their opinions, because they
Yeah.
feel like if their opinions, if they're, I don't know, they want to have it, they want to make sure that their opinions are taken so seriously that they're just like, it's objective or whatever. And it's like, no, not really, you know. And
Yeah.
then there's the case of like, you know, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier thing, where they're like, oh, they watched somebody's video who called a cop a pig. And he's like,
Mm.
oh, well, you know, let's see, you know, you shouldn't be able to call the cops next time you're getting murdered or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
It's
which is
like,
just dumb as hell.
it's just really dumb. You know, they're reactionaries. They hang
Yeah.
out with reactionaries. They just are
Yeah.
reactionaries.
I mean,
Anyways.
like, because there are like, and I also go through this in my video. Like, there are, like things that should not be like disqualified from the more like the things we try to make more objective about filmmaking, right? Like there are things that happen in movies are more objective, right? Like we can talk about, okay, what is the plot of the movie? That can still be subjective, right? But it's like it is more objective. We can talk about the different like the different methods they've used to film the movie. There's a bunch of things within film that you can try to be more objective about, right? That are easier to be more objective about. We've even talked about it when we've been talking about the sequels here, right? Where we're talking about the context of a scene, right? Like where J.J. Abrams has been like established the certain background and context of the Kylo Ren versus Rey scene, right? We've been talking about that. That is, it's easier to be more objective, but it's still not like completely without faults. And the main thing is, when you're being like trying to be more objective about a movie and trying to talk about these things, at the end of the day, when you try to attribute any kind of quality towards the movie, that is where subjectivity comes into it. You can talk about a plot hole, you can talk about like story structure and stuff like this, about the way something has been filmed, but whether those things are good or not, that is subjective. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it does. You're making a whole lot of excellent points here. And like, I mean, look, if you're just here to be their mouthpiece, I'm not interested in that. You know, I mean, it's really silly.
I mean,
Please
cool if they agree with that. Awesome.
go do something else. Go do something else with your life. Seriously, I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, you probably have some innate characteristic or value or quality or talent or something that you could be applying to the world, to, you know, whether it's artistic or whatever it is, and you're spending, clearly, like, you know exactly what video where is it, what video I was referencing that they were watching. That's not great, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a good sign. Do something else, man. Like, seriously, I believe in you, I really do. So then there's Madam Web. Okay, it debuts with a dismal Rotten Tomatoes score. Can you believe that?
Oh yeah,
I was so excited.
I could not. I saw someone say this on Twitter, and I kind of agree. Like, Sony is kind of the biggest threat to Marvel.
Yeah. I mean, like, Kevin Feige is literally doing that thing. Hold on, let me turn my camera so I can enact it here. But like, Kevin Feige's like, I don't fucking know them, man. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like, oh fuck. Every time, like, because Sony feel like, it's like Sony feel like the dads or something, and like they have a son who's way more talented than them, but it's like kind of like Sony wants to be involved, and then they like see the success and they're like, oh wait, let me be involved too, right? And then they completely fuck it up every single time.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's fucking rad.
I got to take them out once a stream right now.
Yeah,
they're
of
still
course,
new.
man.
Fucking.
I think you should play Wolverine in the upcoming X-Men.
I think so too.
You should be X-Man.
I should be X-Man.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit too tall for a comic accurate Wolverine. A little bit.
Cut off your legs. No, but like, yeah, and because here's the thing, right? Most of us like fans or like more like hardcore fans, right? The people who keep up with this stuff, we know that Sony movies are not the MCU. That they're not connected, right? Madam Web, it's not made by Marvel Studios. This is not like a big, like, the last MCU movie was horrible, right?
Right.
But I think a lot of casuals will just assume, because it is a Marvel movie, they'll assume that it's connected.
Which explains why certain chuds are playing it that way, right? Like, because there's some of them that are, some of them are saying they're acting it like it's just, another Marvel thing or whatever. But then and then there are other ones are same ones. Some cases are acting like we care about the success of, like, oh, they're, I don't know. I don't remember what I saw exactly. I actually do have one example of something pretty egregious, and it.
Yeah.
I don't like using the whole derangement syndrome meme. There's like Trump derangement syndrome, but there's a couple of real ones. There's a Disney and there's a Marvel derangement syndrome.
For sure. I mean, just real quick, I'd also find it funny if anyone's trying to go like do the whole like, oh, Disney Marvel is screwing up, and then using the Sony movies as like the reason.
Okay, so this guy clearly has Disney Marvel derangement syndrome.
Oh dear, another Disney woke flop.
And then,
oh dear, another superhero.
Delete, edit.
That's so funny.
No, we're not doing, I guess, the Midnight's Edge stuff today because we, the X-Men 97 trailer came out, and then we just gotten into good conversation and whatnot, and we're gonna cover those guys pretty soon. Like, I'm gonna be pushing hard for us to stop talking about the same chuds as much.
Yeah,
like that really, like they get, it's just they're not gonna change by us talking about them. You know what I mean? Like what they're going to do is they're going to change by people stopping watching them. They're going to go away by they're not being incentivized. And I like to think that we do enough good criticism and analysis that we discourage people from being fans of theirs.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at some point, we just have to kind of move on and maybe swing back to them or whatever. And then like we're working on a nerdrotic video right now, so they'll still be.
And that'll do. Yeah, that'll be quite big. It's also, I also like it like when we get into just more like fluid conversations that aren't always like about the trailer stuff. Like, of course, we always weave it into it because it's important and it's all connected, and we have a voice to do that. But I think it's also because if you remember, like was part of the reasons of the initiative was to create a fan like what's it called, like a fan base or like a space on YouTube and on the internet bigger than either of us channels could make on our own, where like fans of this stuff, right, movie fans or comic fans or video game fans stuff can come together and also like feel like that it's not just the anti-woke and the chud side, like that's not all that YouTube fandom is.
Right.
It can also be a place where you can come and talk about the things you like or even dislike without it being a toxic space, right? Or a place where people.
That's what we try to do with our Discord, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like where people don't, like there can be disagreements and it can be cool because it's fun to have conversations about art and things you enjoy, but where it's not like it doesn't get vitriolic. It doesn't get like personal and stuff, right? Like it's not that deep.
Well, I mean, it's just there doesn't need to be these kind of like, oh my god, Turf just died. Are you alive? Did you? Uh-oh, something happened there. I don't know. Yeah, the old Danish surprise over there. Yeah, this essential. Oh my god. This essentializing kind of bullshit that happens where you like,
Yeah.
because somebody likes a movie, that means a thing about them as a person kind of thing. That's just like, oh man,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
so fucking stupid it's the most, it's the shittiest thing that could happen. It's literally the opposite of fandom. The word fandom is about community. And if you're viewing media or comics, movies, whatever, through this lens of like, if someone likes this thing, they're a shill, or or a plant, or they're a fucking woke whatever weirdo, or if someone doesn't like it, then they're a chud or whatever, like, and it's important.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing that I have to keep in mind doing the content that I do, because a lot of the people that I see not liking certain things, they just are there because there's a lot of bigoted reasons and stuff like that, and I have to constantly remind myself that not all of them are that reason. And you kind of have to keep that bias in check, because you see so much of the shit that we see that it's hard to, you got it. That's why you got to take it one at a time, case by case example, and study stuff. But like, there's also usually it's pretty quick to figure out the reasons why people aren't have those types of, anyway, nonetheless.
Sure.
But this is the kind of thing that, like, we want to do that. We do this type of content not because we want to do it forever and we want to make a career off of this content. We do this and show you something like what I'm about to show you, so that you can then go out and contribute these ideas and propagate them and whatnot, right? Like, it's one of those things that's just obvious when you really lay it out. That there's a reason why these people are upset about certain things, and that there's a hypocrisy to pretty much every example. It's not valid. It's not good. Anyway,
yeah, and I feel like you always, or at least I always, in this conversation where it's like, well, like, whitewashing has been happening for so long, but then I get the argument that's like, oh well, is it then good to just do the opposite? And it's like, well, no, but it's also not the same, like there's a difference between making characters of a certain background who really have not been represented much in media just in general throughout the history of Hollywood, and just making them white. There's a difference between that and then the more recent effort to show, like just have more people who look different in media, and it's like, even if people are like not always a fan of the opposite, right, or like casting a black person as a character that was formerly white, I just think it's important to realize that there is still a difference, right? Like they're not like equal, those two scenarios. Even if you like have a little bit of a problem with one of them, I hope most people can at least like accept that is not the same thing, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. I mean, it's I did get distracted by this comment here. So Luca, so you think that there's absolutely no practical reason why building under the ocean would have a roof? How about you don't want fucking sharks and random fish and shit just swimming into your home? Like, if just because you live under the ocean doesn't mean you want to have that shit swimming around in your house. You're thinking about it from in terms of somebody who lives not under the ocean, and that's what I mean. This is a perfect example of, like, honestly, thank you, because you think that this is just a bulletproof point that you're making here, that like it doesn't make any sense. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, but it does if you just apply a little bit of thought to it and imagination to it. And that's, I know, crazy to ask that you do a little work to appreciate something, but I don't know.
Yeah. Like, there are plenty of other reasons I want a roof than to stop rain.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, you have to put yourself into the world of, like, I'm an almost like a different species of human who's living underwater.
Well, I mean, you don't want your buddies to swim over your house and watch you fucking or something.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like, or jerking one off. Like, hey man, a little privacy in here. Jesus, I'm trying to rub one out. Or I guess, I don't know. Friction is kind of weird underwater. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Would you be okay with Ryan Gosling playing Black Panther?
I did a video on that. I fucking destroyed that shit. destroyed it. All right.
There are. It's also like, I mean, like because here's my theory, right? There's also the reason I think that it's also a big problem when like characters of certain backgrounds are cast as white is also because there's not much representation of people with different skin colors or different ethnicities or different religions or cultures and backgrounds and stuff. Like when like usually when there is a character who is that of that background, it also becomes a part of the story, right? Because a lot of like art and like books and stuff in the past has been like trying to show like the lives of, for example, a black man or a woman or a person or like a Native American person or someone from a different culture altogether from a different continent, right? Because there isn't that much or hasn't been that much representation of it. Whereas with whereas like white people have always just been the standard, right? So there's less like percentage wise, there's just less like white characters where their background is vital to the story.
Yeah,
and their characters.
So this actually brings us to the something I do think we need to zero in on more in regularly for a while.
Yeah.
DEI is the new woke. I've seen DEI a lot more lately.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like I think they think that that's like because it's a specific thing that they can point to that's more, valid than woke because the over time woke has just obviously become a nonsensical fucking vague bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's yeah. DEI. Look, I don't think we have time here. I mean, I don't know how long you wanted to stay on, but
I mean, probably like another 15 minutes. So yeah.
Okay. By the way, the original plan was that whenever we ended after 2 hours, we are going to kick it over to Organized Chaos's Thursday stream. However, he needed some rest. So he's pushing his stream back to, let's see, 5 p.m. his time, I think, which would be was it 2 my time? So just an extra hour, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but yeah, do you check out Organized Chaos today? I think he's got some comics maybe he's going to talk about, maybe. Not sure.
Cool.
I think that's what he does on Thursdays now.
Everyone else can also get a little bit of rest after this and then go watch his stuff.
Yep. DEI is just the new affirmative action, exactly, which is what woke is anyways. Right. And it's just a way of saying, oh, well, why don't they put the person that's the best for the role instead of choosing a black person? It's like, so your presumption is that the black person can't be the best person for the role. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's the underlying kind of like, yikes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, I just quickly wanted to, just because this also, like, there's a colonial history of white European oppression in Africa. It's not the same as Black Little Mermaid. And this is what, like, with my whole point about, from before, like, the other day I was playing through, or last month, I was playing through Mass Effect 1 for the first time. And like, that's a sci-fi game where humanity has gone beyond race in like terms of like skin colors for humans. And there's a lot of things to do with race, right? But it's like alien species. So like black or white or whatever, as for humans, it's not a big deal, right? Humanity's kind of moved past that. And there's a character called like Captain Anderson or something. He's black, and like if they made like a live action, what's it called, like a live action Mass Effect movie or TV show or something, and they just changed around like the skin colors of the humans in that, I would not like, and even like he became like a white person, I don't think I'd mind that much, right? Because like skin color and like it had like race in that sense doesn't matter to that story. It's more like humans and aliens, right?
So I've actually got what I'm going to play whenever we get off of here. I'm going to play a little bit of a video from that me and Perp have from last year. Whenever all the Little Mermaid trailer came out, basically, and it was they all started throwing a fit and shit. Actually, I think it was from the year before, maybe. Holy shit, I don't know. But yeah, and there was that meme that goes around. It's like, oh well, so Ryan Gosling can play the Black Panther.
Yeah,
and it's like, man, if you don't understand the difference of this stuff, then you're not really in. You kind of don't care about story. The thing that you're always claiming, these people claim, oh, we want good stories. Well, then why are you not realizing the fact that the T'Challa being black is inherent to the story? And whereas and then of course they tried their best to fucking make the claim that like, oh well, Little Mermaid being white because Hans Christian Andersen was Dutch or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's like, okay, but that's
Hey,
not what. Huh,
He was Danish.
was that what it was?
He was one of
Oh.
ours.
Okay.
Yeah. That's also why I felt geared enough to like debunk that shit.
I don't know, I don't know. It seems like you're just here to like, lash out because you're hearing things you disagree with and you're trying to like, I don't know, prove something. And it's really just kind of a lame thing to do whenever we're not even talking about any of that shit.
But yeah, like exactly like that thing, right? Where it's like, oh well, The Little Mermaid is important for white people, right? Because like it like the Danish people, they she's supposed to show the typical Danish girl. Like, no, the Little Mermaid was never written to be necessarily in Denmark, and even like the original story is not the Disney version. The Disney version is just like a newer version and those waters, that ocean is definitely not Denmark. If our oceans look like that, there would be a lot more people who would want to come here.
Well, I actually have a clip where me and Bob were on stream whenever some dude was in chat trying to say this stuff, and it's like I looked it up on stream and I was like, all right, let's look into this. And apparently, so like it's not mentioned where it takes place in the original Hans Christian Andersen story.
Yeah.
But he was known to have he had visited, what was it, Italy? Pretty recently, and that like he talked a lot about it around that same time. So like, and there are descriptions that would match up more with like the ocean around Italy and stuff. So like, yeah, it's not supposed to be just a Danish fucking specific folklore. It's not that. And whereas like T'Challa, the fact that they are, Wakanda is an African nation that has been untouched and by colonialism and stuff like that. That's fucking inherent to the goddamn story. You change that, you're not dealing with Black Panther at all anymore.
Exactly. And like most like stories where there is like even like the most recent like Echo, right? With like with the character of Echo, like that would also be weird if they just made her white, because like her background is a pretty big important part of her character. But it's like there are other stories, like for example what Bob of the Old Ways is saying here is same with Lord of the Rings, where it's like no worries, where it's it is there's like racial struggles within the world, but it is between like fantasy races with men and elves and hobbits and dwarves and all that. It doesn't have to do with the skin color itself. If there had been like an original or like character in like the Peter Jackson movies that had been black, and then that character was like suddenly cast as like a white person in Rings of Power, that wouldn't be as much of a big of a deal. Of course, like I think it's different if like everyone was just made white just for the sake of that. But like if the skin colors of the human races were just like swapped around a little bit, and just like like some of the previously white ones were suddenly like of Asian descent or black people, and then like the other way around, like that wouldn't matter as much because the background isn't an important part of those characters.
Yep.
And it's just
Yep. It's I don't know, like the people, if you have some take that you've learned from hearing it from some YouTuber or some YouTube community, and you think it's just such a fucking like, oh, this take it blows all that out of the water, all their wokeness or whatever, I challenge you to I don't know, to criticize your own take. I challenge you to spend some time, not on the internet, not trying to prove a point to anybody, but on your own time, really think about this take that you hold, that you think is just like bulletproof and stuff, and like actually really apply some critical thought to it, and you might be surprised that it doesn't hold up as well as you assume it does.
Can always if you think it's something that like you want to bring to our attention, always come in here and tell us the argument. And
well, this actually, so
we can help
I
you with it.
don't know if you saw I proposed this in the server the other day, but like I was thinking about, what if we do a call-in segment?
That could be cool.
Yeah, Bob was interested, and I think that like it could be cool too, just because I know that a lot of people might want to talk, but they don't want to get on a live stream, or they don't know how to get on a live stream and stuff like that. But I mean, if I have like a Google Voice number and stuff, I could kind of get that set up. We would have to get a screener for sure, because there'd definitely be chuds trying to fuck with us and whatnot. But
for sure,
and there'd probably be some stupid moments of them succeeding and getting on for a moment or whatever. But like, it generally be a no nonsense thing. If you start acting like you're not engaging with the conversation, we'll just fucking kick you. But like, yeah, if just people that actually want to have a conversation, they actually have questions and want to analyze their own take, not just challenge ours because it's different than theirs, you know? Because that's easy, man. Like I've changed my fucking takes on a lot of things over the years because I spend time thinking about it and going, wait a second, that's not really the strongest version of that take that I could have because I didn't consider this or whatever. It's if you're not approaching from a ideological perspective, if you're not approaching from like you've got the conclusion and now you just have to reverse engineer it to make it fit, then
exactly the way we all write essays in school,
right? No, I don't think that's what I'm talking about, man. Sorry. It'd be more just like to kind of have conversations of like not debates, but like conversations that about these subjects that we talk past each other a lot. People have this debate mentality in mind and shit. So I just something I'd want to try to not have with this.
Yeah.
I thought you said colon segment where we talk about our colons.
Yes. I think that's that'd be quite cool.
I know that, but tell that to some girlfriends I had one time when I was.
Jesus.
Oh dear.
Yes.
All right. Well,
I think that's probably it for now.
Check this out. I mean, look, I'm not going to fucking bury the lead any further. The Fandom Menace chuds are working with InfoWars.
Now this is journalism. Yeehaw!
Nice. That's your very own journalism. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Turf.
What?
Okay, you the big bad booty daddy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You know I love it when you call me that. But listen.
Here's the thing.
You are
dope as fuck.
Honestly, sometimes I
don't understand it.
How dope as fuck I am?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
all I have is
I have small dick energy.
No, that's not true, man. You're telling a lie right now. Honestly, it.
So you're thinking I'm what I'm doing is
your content is slander.
Yeah, but I mean at the same time,
this is getting stupid.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you're just coping, man.
Pure cope.
True. At the same time, however, moreover, meanwhile, it's time for us to get out of here.
Hey, DJ.
Bob, shut up.
Yeah, Bob, shut up. Fucking Bob. Oh my God, Bob. You know,
I love this. Bob, shut up. Just like the casually. Hey, DJ.
Are you Bob? If you're out there, are you offended or
like I don't get offended by shit?
Yeah.
You know,
this right here. This is a shit.
Good times,
anyways,
good times. Yeah, so I'm gonna play a bit of this video just to kind of makes this point about that we were talking about with Black Panther and Little Mermaid and all that stuff. Yeah, Turf Nation, it is good to have just been able to talk to you, man. You know, we should do this more often.
I love I like our usual streams where there's a lot going on. But I also just like when our conversations just take over and we just get into.
And I mean, honestly, like 2 streams in a row, I'm glad that this one was kind of so different than yesterday because yesterday we did the typical like going through the news items and we did a bit of that today, but like there's more just conversation pieces. And yeah, hopefully we'll all be able to be back on together soon. Man, I told somebody I'm trying to get for a guest, Alec Gunther. If anybody's familiar with him, he's
I think he's like I've seen him in like
so
one of the
you saw
crowd debates, right?
You saw him fucking body Matt Walsh in his own fucking.
Yeah.
But he's definitely interested. He wants to be on. We're just trying to figure out because he works Wednesdays. So
nice.
Basically, he works. I think he said Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So any other day time, he's free pretty much, and he might be able to make it work on a Wednesday. But you know, so if you whatever you can do to help work with that, we'll talk about that off air. But I'm excited about that. Nonetheless, I told him the other day, I was like, dude, trying to fucking get YouTubers together at the same time is should be the new version of herding cats. You know, just like it's the new way to say it.
It's rough.
Look at that. Look at that. This is I mean, it's this underhanded insult to me. That's fine, but I can accept it. I can take it, man.
Damn,
Like,
you know what? I really
fucking
enjoyed.
hope Turf fucking does this by himself sometime. Jesus Christ.
You know, it's like, you know what? I really enjoyed this stream, but there's something that's just kind of off with it. Like honestly, maybe actual family just needs to go.
Yeah, like I mean, you know, look, this is a great stream. It's just one thing that I really could get the fuck out of here. Like
This Dane, man, really did not have to be there. No, I don't think you meant it like that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I always tell myself, I'm like, oh, I should do more solo streams. It'll come when it comes eventually, like me. I mean, I will be starting to upload soon again, hopefully, and then we'll see how consistent that becomes.
That's okay. Yeah, you know, take your time. Only do it when you feel like it. You know, you
Yeah,
ain't got nothing to prove to anybody. You're already a 11,000 subscriber YouTuber up in this motherfucker.
That is
right?
true. I mean, that I already reached like my goal, which was 10,000, and I don't see myself reaching ever 100,000. So it's like. I don't really have anything I'm working towards anymore, but maybe I should find something. Maybe it's good to have a little goal.
It's also good to have a break, and like you don't have to, you know, the thing that YouTube wants is for us to constantly feel like we have to achieve something, and you know, that's just not true. You're enough. You are enough, Turf.
Am I enough?
You are enough. Okay. All right. Yeah, you guys hit the likes and subscribes and stuff, and you know, be sure to check out some of the channels in the description. There's plenty of them. So if you're looking for content that's not chuds, if you got tired of fucking encountering that kind of stuff and you want some actual good takes, there's plenty of them in the channels in the description. Also, next Wednesday we're gonna have a guest. It'll be Chariot will be joining us.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be cool. They got good takes. They got good content. They cover a lot of good stuff. And yeah,
awesome.
Check out Organized Chaos's stream. I think on his channel and on Initiative in a couple hours from now. I think, or maybe an hour, maybe. Nonetheless,
I think an hour. Yeah, if it's 5. Yeah.
And yeah, check me out tomorrow. We're gonna be doing that out of the dark, talking about some of those stories of people coming out of that chud business.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, well, true. There's also that option, right?
Yes, I must. This is my goal.
All right. Peace out, y'all.
Yeah. See you guys. Bye.
We have to ask the question, is Black Little Mermaid equivalent to White Black Panther? Well, let's look at just the titles alone and see, you know.
Yeah, I thought that was a joke.
That's a joke. Ha ha ha. What a joke.
I thought that, like, you were saying a joke. I don't think, like, guys, I hope some like chuds in the chat just thinking, oh, okay, just because the name Black Panther, I hope they think that's our whole argument.
Yeah.
You know, because here's the thing.
Say that again.
About what? Here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
It's clobbering time.
All right. Go ahead.
Nice. Okay, so here's the thing.
I have to do it again, man. Here's the thing.
It's clobbering time.
Not going to rest on that because obviously there's characters that have black in their, like, Black Mask, Black Widow. She's not black. Black Mask and Black Widow. That word implies like a tone of character or action or something like that.
Yeah.
With Black Panther, it directly describes obviously the Panther, but there's the double entendre of it. There's the double meaning.
Where's the thing, Dane?
You can't say it again. It's like the Pee Wee Herman.
Today's secret word.
It's clobbering time.
Here's the quartering. Okay. Oh my God. I am sorry to have cursed your freaking eyeballs and your monitors with this image. I didn't realize that this was. God damn it, dude. That looks. Is that Vin Diesel's body?
Family, 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 family.
Anyway, so this is clearly disgusting and clearly done to get a rise out of people because that's what Jeremy Hambley knows. It's so lazy with him in particular is because it's like a job to him now. It's like punching in and out every day. It's like, got to go to work, say something really offensive, make that money, and then sell my coffee that's apparently made by actually a woman-owned coffee bean business.
Yeah.
And say it's not political. But anyway,
he's admitted to people. That's why he stopped. Remember, he used to debate. That dude used to actually go around and debate, and he stopped doing that because like one streamer got him to admit that, yeah, I don't really care about this. Yeah, I just know my audience cares. Like pretty much admitting that he's and you could sort of see it. There's when he's in that Friday Night Tights thing with all the other grifters or whatever, and Alex.
His heart's not in it.
Yeah, and Alex Jones is saying, and they're all like, "Hey, Alex Jones, you're right now." He's cringing. Like you could see him cringing.
Yeah.
If you don't do what we want medically with an experimental shot that's already killed a bunch of people, we are going to kill you. Well, let me explain my philosophy and how I think, because I'm a big history buffer. I've forgotten more history than most history professors know. The drinking and things make you forget things.
quartering nose.
Think of the globalists as psychotic aliens. They're basically like aliens. They're not really very human-like. Serial killers are their own, thing. So that's what I'm saying is it's like getting an alien transmission with their invasion plan 20 years before. And are you going to do something, or an asteroid's 20 years out? It's going to kill all life on Earth, or kill most of it for a decade. There's already millions dead from these injections. You're being depopulated. Act like you want to live, or they will kill you. They plan to collapse society. I would retire right now and go away if we would just stop the forced injections and the New World Order and all the pedophile drag queen story.
It's kind of interesting because he does seem smarter than a lot of them that way, even though his content is way dumber. I feel like.
Yeah,
because it's because of what you just said, because his heart's not in it. He probably is just checked out when he's saying this stuff at this point. He just knows all the right things to trigger words and keywords to use and the things to say to get the clicks he needs to pay for his house and so on and so forth. Whereas the other guys, I think they generally, like especially Ryan Kennel, I think he believes what he says. Just something about the barely contained psychopathy with that guy. So here's this image. It's one of a couple that go around a lot. You guys have probably seen the other one.
Bro, this is why I started cracking up, because I've been in comic sections. I actually talked to a chatter about the organized chaos. Is comment section is always filled with critical trigger. You know how many comments have brought in the Ryan Gosling, and now I know the source. And I even asked him, like, where are you getting this talking point? Because like several individuals in like different comic sections have been bringing up Ryan Gosling as the Black Panther, and now I know why.
It really shouldn't have to be discussed in a big deal. Like, they made her black in this one. Cool. That should be really the extent of the conversation in a just world. But yeah, so she's played by African-American actress. That seems to obviously have just triggered this round of discourse again that comes around, several times a year at least.
Yeah, I feel like this is at another level. I feel like this is level red though, for some reason. I was expecting this for Rings of Power, but I feel like The Little Mermaid has overshadowed, and I think it's even gone a little bit into the mainstream right-wing communities as well, not just like these YouTube.
Oh,
YouTuber
of course
nerds.
it does.
Yeah.
Anytime something that has potential crossover appeal outside of, like you said, out of the normal fandom discourse, the right will seize on it.
Breitbart gave him the game plan, because Breitbart deliberately targeted gamers. This whole Gamergate crap, if you could actually research, go to the Wayback Machine to Breitbart articles, like years before, they were making a considered effort, and said they were making a considered effort to reach out to gamers.
So here's the Ryan Gosling, and quartering, bruh, keep molding. My Black Panther is representative of the world we live in for a global audience.
I'm constantly saying these chuds do not know how to analyze media. So they think one character is the same as the other. One character means the same thing as the other. But they clearly don't. There is integral parts to the character, right? That you have to ignore in order to make Black Panther white, right? Now, what makes Black Panther Black Panther? Let's talk about Wakanda. Wakanda is an African country, right? Now, there's white people in, so they'll say, oh, there's white people. What about South Africans? Oh, there's white people in Africa. Okay, Dane, what's the hook of Wakanda? It wasn't touched.
The idea of a superhero story at its core is a power fantasy. The whole point of most superheroes, Captain America, the original Thor, Donald Blake situation, Daredevil, you know, is all like they have something that they want to overcome as people, whether it's a disability or just Peter Parker was super nerdy and shit and all that. And whenever they become a superhero, they become the best version of themselves, kind of thing, right? With Black Panther, the thing is, it's all based around Wakanda, which is why having a movie called Wakanda Forever makes perfect sense, honestly, because it's not just Black Panther and his power fantasy. The power fantasy is, what if there was a country in Africa that was not colonized by fucking white people? Basically, the course of African history was completely altered by white people. And that includes, obviously, the slave trade. So basically, Wakanda is like, what if there was one country that had a special resource and had special, you know, like, basically because of that resource, they were allowed to stay hidden and protect themselves from colonialism, imperialism. And then what would that look like, you know, all these centuries later? And that's Wakanda. That is the power fantasy of an entire nation of African people, right? Like, that's what it's about. And so the idea of T'Challa being white conflicts with the whole concept, because and this is the difference that people like Jeremy, I don't know if he really understands or not, maybe he does, but don't let anybody equate these two things. Because while let's say you want to change, I don't know, Spider-Man, for example, right? Say you want the new Peter Parker in the next version of the MCU or whatever, he's a black guy this time, right? It really doesn't change anything. Like, you know, as far as like Spider-Man isn't dependent on being a white guy to be Spider-Man. That's just not something inherent to his character. It's not something innate to him. Peter Parker was not like at a, I don't know, KKK rally when he got bit by a spider or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever. He wasn't at like a.
Don't give him ideas. Don't give the Lotus director new ideas. All right.
He wasn't at a, I don't know, a Keith Urban concert or whatever. I don't know what fucking, you know, most white people do. Like, what's a place where only white people would be there? But that's not where Peter Parker was. He was actually in New York City, in Queens. So, you know, there's black people there. Of course, it would piss people off. It would be kind of jarring to me, to be honest. I mean, I would still be like, okay, well, let's see what they do with it. But as someone who's read Spider-Man all my life, and has been able to see myself represented in him, more or less, it would be kind of like, oh shit, really? Okay. But I would get over it. I really would. You know, if the movie was bad, it would be bad for a lot of reasons that have nothing to do with him being a black guy. T'Challa cannot be white because of that very reason.
His skin color is integral to the character. That is Black Panther. That is Wakanda. You need a Wakanda. You need a Wakanda that is hidden for the rest of the world, that wasn't touched by, like, that's what makes it special.
I had to mute myself because of this next comment I'm going to show. But Dietrich, I was laughing. Kevin Kline was a regular skinhead until one day at a Nickelback concert, he was bitten by a radioactive Nazi and became the Chinless Wonder. All right, so that's the whole point of that. And I knew that it wasn't going to take us long to get through this point because it's really simple, guys. Like, you have to almost be trying to misunderstand and trying to be an edgelord and trying to, you know, just be a troll and a chud for clicks in order to not get this basic idea. Even if they did make Clark Kent a black guy.
Yeah.
Like, nothing changes. Literally nothing.
This video is brought to you by
Reproduce. How can I be a white nationalist if I wear Reproduce? Checkmate, groomer.
Hey man, something's got to pay the bills around here. You guys consider supporting me on Patreon so that I don't have to do this type of gig anymore? Reproduce Griftwear, the only clothing line that's DMCA protected. Dress like a goddamn brick.
Reproduce.